think this content and this information will bring value to those who are homeless, those who are in agencies that provide housing for the homeless. This information is valuable to uh, federal and state and local entities that are um, planning to provide services for the homeless. I am in a fluid situation right now, me and my children, and I have the expertise to speak on this from I guess, from the other end of the spectrum as someone who is homeless and someone who has been dealing with um, Albuquerque's housing agencies for 15 years now. And the reason I became homeless for the very first time in Albuquerque was because of a housing agency that provided that provided housing for the homeless. And that agency doesn't exist anymore because of embezzlement from the CEO and president. And I was a major part of that, although there was a whistleblower involved in that. I initiated the investigation federally. And then shortly after that, that's when the woman decided to become a whistleblower. But let's get into this video dealing with the federal government coming back to coming to visit Albuquerque. Um, Feds look into homelessness in Albuquerque, and I will be doing the reaction video to this content. So let's get into it.
We don't need to tell you how serious the homelessness issue is here in New Mexico. A recent report from the state's Legislative Finance Committee showed a nearly 50% increase in homelessness over the past year. And it appears the feds are noticing. Members of the U.S. Interagency Council on Homelessness came here. They visited New Mexico this week. They say they want to get a closer look at our state's homeless issue and the solutions that are already on the table. Griffin Rushton has more on this for us, joining us live in downtown Albuquerque. Griffin, you heard from those federal leaders today. What are their takeaways after coming here?
Well, it seems the big one is just a lack of housing options. The council's executive director says their discussions with local providers here in Albuquerque were largely focused on the barriers that often keep homeless people on the streets. Now, one of those barriers
would be the oversight. These agencies, homeless voucher providers, have policies and regulations that the city, or I don't think there's any entity that is regulating and making sure that those policies and regulations don't discriminate or neglect or harms the experience of someone who is trusting the administrators to provide quality service.
It's simply just the housing shortage itself. Albuquerque leaders estimate the city needs at least 13,000 more units just to keep up with the population. But today's group of providers noted there's also challenges with existing housing voucher programs and suggested more types of people need to be involved in these discussions.
Yes, more people do need to be involved in these discussions, and those people should be the homeless. And those people should especially be the voucher clients that are in these programs. That hasn't happened here in 15 years since I've been here in Albuquerque, not to my knowledge, where the homeless and the participants in the voucher programs have come to speak together, where the administrators can listen to what we need and what and listen, and the administrators should be listening to the quality of services that we think need to be provided to us, for us, and for the community.
And so when I talk about bringing everyone to the table, we need landlords at the table too. We need affordable housing developers at the table. We need to really scale up the affordable housing that's available to people. And then as they move into housing, make sure that they have the supports they need.
So when you move into housing, when you take a homeless person off the street, you have to, before you do that, you have to make sure that you have quality, standard operating um, agencies with policies and regulations that are in place with supporting documentation that is distributed to the clients in the program. All of the information that is allowed to be presented from these voucher programs to the public as public information needs to be distributed to the clients that are in the housing programs. If we don't have those documents and a full understanding of the policies and regulations, we don't know how these programs are being run, and we won't know our rights.
Yeah, that's extra support is a vital ingredient of any homeless solution. We're talking behavioral health treatments, counseling, and even job training. Local providers say they discussed the current gaps in those services today, but added federal leaders noticed a lack of social networks among unhoused people.
One of the takeaways from that is there has historically been sometimes scattered housing. And I really appreciate how we talked about one of the changes that we need is people need to keep those social networks that they've developed sometimes on the street to have that.
The social networks that are on the street need to carry over into the voucher programs. For example, tenants in the housing program need to have a place where they can meet and discuss how these agencies and policies and regulations are affecting or helping them, and be allowed to congregate in a safe place where they can discuss the issues that they're having.
Local providers say they also discussed racial inequities among New Mexico's homeless, including a disproportionately large group of unhoused Native Americans. Now, the council leaders say they plan on taking everything that they learned here in New Mexico back to Washington, D.C. to hopefully find ways that the feds can help out here.
So, since I wasn't at the meeting, and like I said, I am in a fluid situation here where the city of Albuquerque, I do not think is expediting the help. Um, so I decided to um, share my information with with the federal um, people that came and that were shown in this um, content from KLB4 TV. So I took it upon myself to message. I don't. I'm not going to try to butcher your last name. I'm just going to say Jeff. And I sent a message to him describing what is going on, my situation, and I also sent them videos. In addition to that, This is a email to Carol Spence. She was also in the video as well. And so this is a fluid information, and I want everybody involved in the process and of administering these types of services to the homeless to know exactly what is going on and what can go on if an agency is unregulated by the public, by the state. It's definitely regulated by the federal government, but you have to go far and beyond to get someone to listen and to actually take action. And because this is my not my first time um, 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 playing this game with agencies in Albuquerque, I know exactly what to do, and I will get it done for my family and I. So, in order at this point in time, uh, the housing voucher programs, because of a lack of oversight, because of the lack of oversight, then the clients in these programs experience tenant rights violation and discriminatory experiences. Those are my truths. Those are my facts. And I speak coming from a place of being a father who loves all of my children. And I take the time to spend with them 24 hours a day. That's why they call me the homeschool dad. These boys have been homeschooled all of their lives. So no one can ever judge my parenting. I just want to put that out there. Please like, share, and subscribe.